Thank you so much, Abraham and Esther and Jerry, for giving me the words for what I have done since I was very young, and for helping me to remember who I am all day, every day, and to help others to do the same. So I'm so grateful. I just signed a book, my book for you all, and left it with Randy. And there's gratitude all over the book for all of you. So I have two questions, and I have one fun Jerry story.
Start with that.
Okay. Okay, so on Wednesday, a couple days ago, I was practicing yoga. I have 5 yoga studios. And I teach about law of attraction whenever I teach yoga and when I teach about my book. And I was practicing yoga at home, and I was listening to Abraham. And one of the guests asked a question about Jerry, and you know, I loved the answer. It was great. And they were joking around about how he had woken up at 5:55 that morning, or the morning I think he found out about Jerry moving into non-physical. So Abraham was saying, well, that's Jerry. And then the next day he woke up at 5:54, and then he waited and he watched the clock turn to 5:55, and Abraham said, well, that's Jerry. And then I took my 16-year-old daughter. I have 5 kids, ages 3, 3, 6, 9, and 16. And I took my 16-year-old to school. And on the way, she said, Mom, can we stop and get coffee? I said, sure. I was telling her the story about Jerry, because I love master numbers, angel numbers. I'm always pointing them out. And all my kids know Abraham. And so we went in, we got coffee and cinnamon bread, and I said, and how much do I owe you? And well, first he said, how are you doing? And I said, best ever. My book is called Create the Best Life Ever. And he was on my disc, he was on my vibration, so he got it, and he smiled at me, and I said, how much do I owe you? And he looked right in my eyes, and he said, $5.55. And I just, you know, it just happens all day long.
So the significance of numbers lining up. So numbers can line up and you cannot be there, or numbers can line up. In other words, 555 happens a couple of times a day. So does 444 and 333 and 222. Jerry always worried about seeing 666. But the question is, where are you in relationship to it? And so once you are in this place where you are enjoying acknowledgement of alignment, then just an impulse to glance over there means the difference between a rendezvous with something or not. And so these rendezvous, co-creation really is about rendezvousing, isn't it? And so it's logical. We won't take any time here. It's logical that the more often you are in alignment, and the more you acknowledge that you are, and the more that you mean to hold yourself there, and the more that you are able to hold yourself there, then the more meaningful rendezvous you will have. Esther has a friend who says, it's the setup. It's the setup that makes all of this so interesting. And in our words, we would say it's the deliberate intent that makes the culmination so interesting. So once you've acknowledged that you are appreciating those alignment numbers, and once you are deliberately reaching for alignment and finding it, then you can expect and will find constant reinforcement of your alignment. That's what that's all about. A lot of you are getting that, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love the synchronicities. To me, it's all about magic, and just fun. And
it's none about magic.
Well, Well, I mean, you know what I mean, in the playful kind of.
We want the definition of it from you, because it's not magic, it's law-based. Magic implies that it is outside laws, and it is not outside laws. Magic also implies that it is outside what anybody can do, that is a special few that are anointed to the special departure from something. There's nothing magic about this. It's all law-based, and everyone can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to use a different word now for magic, and that would be just playful and fun. To me, it's playful and it's fun. And my children are my biggest teachers, especially my twin 3-year-old boys, because they're always having fun and playful. And if not, they're just pissed and they're telling me why, and then they're over it. You know, and that's really helpful to me. Can I ask my first question? Yeah. Okay. So I wrote a book, which I already said, and I love to write, and I'm very blessed to be able to write quickly and easily, and I'm totally in the vortex while I write. I also write 3 blogs, and I write for the Boston Herald, and all I write about is law of attraction. And the Boston Herald, actually, this is a fun story, is that I actually write for the Boston Herald because they let me write anything that I want. And it's all law of attraction. And, that's kind of not what I don't read the paper. I don't read any papers. But don't tell them that. And,
we'll tell no one.
I think they know, actually. But, so I just wrote an article last week about the RMV and my trip there with my daughter. And it was this situation, and I found a spiritual lesson, and it was fun and playful, and in the moment it sucked, but I turned it around, and a lot of people could relate to that, and then I turned it into law of attraction. So I try to always do that. But so my intention with my book, because it's fun, is to basically, I'm traveling all over the world and talking about the 3 principles that I do every day to create my best life ever. And the reason I wrote the book is that for about a decade, I think the universe is relentless in its focus of, here, do this, it will be fun. And finally I listened, and people would ask me the same 4 questions every single day. They would say, how do you do everything that you do? Are you a workaholic? Do you ever sleep? And my personal favorite is, are you really that happy? And so I could always answer, 3 of the questions relatively quickly, like after a yoga class, or if I was at Trader Joe's or at a soccer game. But the 4th one was challenging to answer. So I wrote the book, and it's been wonderful. And I've been just traveling and talking about it on a book tour. And I've gotten a fair amount of press, just by law of attraction. I don't have a press agent, and I just want to kind of prove to people that this works, by purposely not getting a press agent. And, so my question for you is,
but how it works may very well bring you a press agent. In other words, law of attraction does not say, let's see how far you can go without co-creating with anyone. Law of attraction says there are a lot of co-creative people who have talent that will play with you, and that when you are in vibrational alignment with what you want, law of attraction will cause you to dovetail with those who are in vibrational alignment. What law of attraction promises you is steady ease in constant unfolding toward things that you want. But
don't be closed.
Don't be so determined to prove your own worthiness by going it alone, because you can't go it alone. And when you pretend that you are, you just slow things down.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's how I have 5 yoga studios, because I obviously can't do that alone. And that's really helped with those.
Yeah. This is a really good conversation to have, because clearly you have defined things that you want, and clearly things are unfolding in a nice way for you. And clearly more things are occurring to you all the time. And Esther, day before yesterday, bought a bull. It's a statue. It's not a real bull. She would like that too, but this is a statue. And it was made in Mexico. And the reason that it appealed to her was for two reasons. Jerry always said that their home on this 40 acres in Texas is Texas Asian, and it always made people laugh because those two things don't seem to go together. So then Esther would explain, because he would just say it in order to make people say what, and then Esther felt like she should explain that it was because the style is Asian, but the textures, the fabrics, the stones, the materials are all Texan, and it's in Texas, so it's Texas Asian. So she finds this bull at a place where she was looking for pottery, full size, and it looked Texas Asian to her. Short legs, made out of some coppery, beautiful substance, and it's a bull. What could be more Texas than a bull? But it looks Asian, and so she thought, that's perfect. And then she remembered the story that Jerry often told about the two of them. He said, there was a farmer who every day lifted a little calf over the fence. And he did it every day until eventually he was picking up a big bull and lifting it over the fence. He just didn't know he was doing it because it had come on so gradually. And so Jerry likened that to the life that he and Esther are living together, that they're doing so much more than they ever thought that they could do, but with the same ease of picking the little calf up and putting it over the fence. And so what we're wanting to say to you is that that's what this enacting and connecting with this energy that creates worlds does for you. In other words, it makes you invincible. It makes you undeniably powerful. The energy that creates worlds is flowing through you. You just have to accept that it is there for you. But there is a thing that goes on with a lot of people, and we can sort of feel it with you as you are expressing here, and it really is at the heart of the questions that so many people are putting to you, is that your ease is something that is apparent. And if a lot of people are asking you if you are a workaholic, you may be emitting a vibration of more action in resistance than action in ease. You see what we're getting at? Mm-hmm. So we can see why this book was summoned through you, because the questions caused you to really contemplate what it's like for you. In other words, have we convinced you that you're not here to prove worthiness to anyone, and that it's all about doing really what you are wanting to do? Mm-hmm. And so as things are inspired to you, it's different than feeling motivated to do something. Yes?
Yes, and I'm not going to go into the past, but I think they're like a pebble in a pond. There might be some old energy to be cleaned up from kind of how I chose to start my life and with which parents. And I think that
as Kate would say, dun, dun, dun.
Right. So what my original...
I'm not going to talk about it, but dun, dun, dun.
Right. So I wonder if, well, the two questions I had were, one is, now, not, I know that's my Universal team, and maybe, I have a lot of people on my Universal team, and they're always helping me out.
Do you know what you've got going on?
No.
Do you know what you've got going on? It's a good thing, but do you know what you've got going on?
Tell me.
You think that you have to explain everything that you've been thinking and living that's brought you to this question.
Yeah, I do, kind of.
A lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
But it's really taking a long time.
Okay.
And in the process, you're activating all kinds of unnecessary vibrations.
Okay, thank you.
And the next thing that we want you to know is Esther is just recently moving past that. Just recently.
Really?
Because like you, she's a teacher. And like you, she cares about the upliftment of others more than life itself, because it is life itself. Yeah. And so this desire to convey what you know is so strong within you, mm-hmm. and yet your awareness that people just don't automatically get you, so you want to explain and explain and explain and explain and explain and explain and explain. It's like every thought you begin to convey to us, then you have to go back and convey the thought that was before that, before this thought makes any sense, and then the thought that was before that, before this thought makes any sense, then the thought that was before that, before this makes any sense, and now we're out of time and we haven't even gotten to what you want to talk about yet. Right. And we want you to cut that out.
Okay.
And the way that you do that is by, and we've talked about this already here today, it's such a wonderful culmination of this important point. Just accept that where you are is where you are, period. And it doesn't matter how far you've come. It doesn't matter how many times you lifted the bull over the fence. Really, it doesn't. All that matters is where you stand in relationship with what you want, because that's what the source within you is wanting to guide you toward.